I stood up to white folks down in Georgia. I know you wouldn't believe it, but you're looking at the first and the last black man that ever went to a Ku Klux Klan meeting in Georgia and came out alive. Not only that, Malcolm was at my house when the Klan first came. They came to my house in a 10-car motorcade. And when they pulled down my block, all the blacks on the block got up and ran in the house, ran through the house. I mean, they was getting out of Dodge. So Malcolm and I, we were standing peeping out the window because they had told us they were coming. They wanted to talk to us. So they stopped in front of my door. The lead car did. And all the other cars stopped. Then they looked the house over. A cop pulled up and talked to him. He pulled away, and then they pulled away. But they went around the block and they came back again. So when they came back, a little short Klansman got out of the lead car. I mean, he was really short. He was a little over 4 feet. He came up to the door, rang the bell. I opened it. He looked at me. "You Jeremiah?" I said, "Yes, sir." He saw Malcolm standing behind me. He said, "You Malcolm?" "Malcolm, yes, sir." "I'm Malcolm." He stood there and said, "Well, you want to come in?" He said, "No, I'm not coming in yet. I'm going to tell you niggas something. If I'm not out of here in 15 minutes, we're going to burn this house down." So Malcolm said, "You don't have to burn the house down. Just come on in." So he came in. He wouldn't take off his coat or his hat. But he did sit down. So he started talking. Malcolm was sort of, just asking him general questions, who are you, what's your name, this, that, and the other. Then he said that he had to go. In fact, Malcolm kept looking at his watch. And so, in other words, after about 10 minutes had passed, he reminded him, you had better go out and let your brothers know that everything is all right in here. So, he went back out. He came back in. He brought a preacher, a couple of politicians from down South Georgia where Jimmy Carter lived. Some down there near Plains. No, these crackers from Willacoochee, Georgia. Mean crackers. So they came in and we sat around the dining room table, and Malcolm began to talk. They started talking, and they said that you Muslims don't believe in integration, and we don't believe in it either. So we ought to get together. So this is a fact. They said we ought to get together. So we need to fight this thing. So that old Martin Luther Coon, he just stirring up things down here. He says that if we get together, we can fight this thing. So Malcolm said, well, what would we be called? He says, he thought about it. He said, we'll call you the Purple Robe. Malcolm said, the Purple Robe? So no, said, we want white robes. So they said, we want white robes. Said, no, say, no nigga, you can't let a nigga wear a white robe. So we give you a purple robe. So Malcolm said, no, we don't want no purple robe. So then he kept talking. Then he got around to what he really wanted. And I know this is going to come as a shock to you, but this is true. They say, that old Martin Luther King, we can't catch that nigga. So we know he lived around here somewhere, but we don't know where. So now if y'all would just point the nigga out to us, say we'll take care of him. So Malcolm said, oh no, so we don't believe in killing our own people. They said, you don't have to kill the nigga, so we'll take care of the violence. And they were serious. They said, we'll take care of the violence. Malcolm said, no. So we're not going to kill our people. Say, our people have been killed enough. I'll give him credit. I was sitting right there. And that was one deal that we wasn't going to go for. But if he had gone for it, Martin Luther King wouldn't have lived as long as he lived. But we don't believe in destroying our own kind for the benefit of the white man. In fact, we don't believe in destroying our own kind, period. The only time we would even think about something like that is if you did it first. And when you, as Captain Yusuf told you, you do that to us, then you got a problem. We don't have one, but you got a big one. But the KKK, they kept on talking, telling us how they had beaten up a lot of black people. And then they started talking about Jews and how they had lynched a Jew. There was a Jew that was down in Georgia that had raped a little Gentile white woman, and they had all lynched this Jew, and they thought that was a big thing. They probably lynched a lot of blacks, but they didn't want to say that while they were sitting there with us. But they were talking about how they had lynched Jews and beaten up a whole lot of blacks because the blacks were integrators and they deserved to be beaten. But anyhow, he pulled out his card, and he had a card with a buzzard's claw on it. He said, "Boy, it's the first time I ever showed a nigger this card." He said, "This is our secret arm." So y'all got a secret group called the FOI, right? So this is our thing, the claw, the KLAW. So then he gave me one of his cards. I asked him for one, he gave it to me. I kept it because whenever I get stopped by them crackers down in Georgia, when I took out my license, I take out that claw card. I give him both of them at the same time. He'd look at me and say, "Nigga, don't go so fast the next time. You hear me?" I said, "Okay, boss." But living in Georgia during that time was really rough. But I believed in the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and I stayed there for almost 7 years. And I got more scratches put on me by black people than I do by them devils. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me, said, "Brother, don't fear him. Said, pray to Allah and ask Allah to take the fear out of you." And he did. And I didn't fear that devil. I stayed there and I went wherever I wanted to go. All in the backwoods, because I used to be the correspondent for Muhammad Speaks. And I used to do stories all in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. In fact, when the white man broke into our temple in Monroe, Louisiana, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sent me over there to get our brother Troy Bayard out of jail. The devils had beaten him up, beaten up everybody in the temple. But I want to just digress for a moment and tell you about Troy, because Troy was a real soldier. They broke into that brother's temple down there in Louisiana, beat up men, women, and children. But Troy was a fighter. When they arraigned Troy the next day, they said, "This old nigga here kept saying, 'Beat the white devils, beat the white devils.'" And that made me proud of him. I'm proud of him to this very day, because he is one of those that stood up at a time when nobody else was standing up.